Hey, 6th grade, this is Miss Reeser here. Today I'm down in our meadow picking some mint for tea later, so I decided to bring you guys along. I love this meadow because when I was younger than you, I would come down here and get the cows up to milk when we still had cows. We don't have cows, or we have some steers, but we don't have milking cows anymore. So it was always my job to come down here and pick and bring the cows up. And also we like to play in the creek. We built a dam, but alas, I can hardly even tell where our dam used to be. So we haven't been down. I haven't been down here for a while. All right. So anyway, that's not about your English. Your assignment for today is lesson 14, which is the self-check. And so that means tomorrow you'll have your final test of the year. Okay, so good job, 6th grade. You've done really well. And you're almost at the end. But remember, don't slack off here at the end. Remember to finish strong, okay? Finish strong and finish well so you can be satisfied and know that you did your best even all the way up to the end. All right? So I'm going to go over a list of things that you should know for your test. There is a checklist in your book that you should look over and make sure you understand those things, and I'll just kind of run down over that checklist and highlight some of the things that you should know, okay? So first of all, know parts of speech and function in the sentence. And I think most of you did fairly well with that on your quiz. You needed, in one section you needed to label the part of speech, and then in another section you needed to label whether it was a predicate nominative, predicate adjective, direct object, or indirect object, and you did fairly well with that. All right, just remember that part of speech is different from sentence function. Okay, the part of speech, an example I use is like a part of speech is like my hand. Okay, my hand is part of my body, but my hand has different functions. All right, my hand can hold tea, it can pull, it can twist, it can squeeze. So my hand can have different functions, and the different parts of speech can also have different functions. So make sure you keep those straight. Also know how to use prepositions correctly, like amounts up to. Instead of saying amounts up to, simply say amounts to. Okay, that's one example, and there are a couple more examples that we learned about. And also the words how come and what for. All right, don't say those. They're incorrect English. Instead, you should say why for how come. So instead of saying how come we are finishing this week, say why are we finishing this week. And I think we all are glad that we're finishing this week. And for what for, just say what. What are you going to be doing? What activities are you going to be doing over the summer? Okay, instead of what for activities you're doing over the summer. Adverb phrases. Know that adverb phrases modify verbs. They describe verbs. And an adverb phrase is simply a prepositional phrase that's describing a verb. Okay? So adverb phrases are describing a verb, and they are diagrammed underneath the verb that they're describing. Know how to put, and that goes along with the next thing, know how to put prepositional phrases in the correct spot. So, adjective phrases modify nouns, and they always come right after the noun that they're describing, okay? Adjective phrases always come right after the noun they're describing. Adverb phrases don't have to come right after the noun that they are describing. They can come anywhere in the sentence, so you have to be more careful with those. But make sure when you're writing your sentence, the prepositional phrase is describing the correct word, okay? Because if it isn't, then you end up with some pretty crazy sentences, okay? Indefinite pronouns, that is a big thing that we talked about this this light unit. We had already talked about the singular ones, but we learned some plural ones. So let's go over the singular. Those are each, one, either, neither, someone, somebody, anyone, anybody, no one, nobody, and everyone, everybody. Okay, so most of them end with one or buddy, and those are the singular ones. So when they're used as the subject, they need to be they need to have a singular verb. Okay, the plural ones, both, few, several, many, only 4 of those are always plural. So that means that when they're the subject of the sentence, they need to have a plural verb. And lastly, the most recent ones that we've learned are ones that can be either singular or plural, okay? And these can be tricky. They are most, let's see if I can get them. Some, any, all. You know what? Miss Treaster is drawing a blank right now. Some, any, none, all, most, maybe? I think that's right. You'll have to check me to make sure. So those are the ones that can be singular or plural, and those are, you need to look at the object of the preposition, okay? Normally we ignore the object of the preposition because the verb needs to agree with the subject, not the object of the preposition. But since these can be either singular or plural, we do need to use them. Look at the object of the preposition to tell whether it's singular or plural. So you could say, some of the ice cream is left, okay? Ice cream is singular, so that we know that we have a singular subject, therefore we need a singular verb. But if I would say, some of the cookies are left, cookies, the object of the preposition cookies is plural, so that means we have a plural subject, and then we need a plural verb, okay? Know how to diagram adjective phrases and adverb phrases. Adverb phrases go under verbs. Adjective phrases go under the noun that they are describing. For punctuation, know how to use semicolons in a list that already has commas. So an example of a list that already has commas would be a list of cities and states, okay? We always separate the city and the state with a comma, so we need to separate the items with a semicolon to make it clear what our items are, okay? And last but not least, you should know what a character sketch is. You've been working on that the last several days. But a character sketch is a word picture of a person. So you're drawing a word picture of what a person is like. Instead of drawing it with a pencil, you're using your words to paint a picture of what that person is like. And I've gotten a couple of them from you, and you've done really well on that. All right, so that is your review for your test. I would encourage you to look over that list yourself and prepare well for the test. And I will see you again tomorrow, 6th grade.